The Tale of the Princess and the Mysterious Suitor. Once upon a time, during the reign of Emperor Klekshake, there was a beautiful princess. Her appearance and demeanor were so exquisite that both the emperor and the empress adored her beyond measure. While the princess had not yet married, an unknown man of noble bearing began to visit her secretly at night, declaring, "I wish to become your husband." The princess replied, "I have never been touched by a man. How could I possibly follow your words? Moreover, I cannot keep this from my parents." The man responded, "Even if your parents were to know, there is nothing wrong in this." Though he came every night to speak to her, he never drew near. In time, the princess informed the emperor, saying, "There is a man who visits me each night and says these things." The emperor replied, "That is no mere man. It must be a god who has come to speak to you." Eventually, the princess allowed the man to come closer. They began to develop mutual feelings for each other, but since she did not know his identity, the princess expressed her doubts, saying, "I do not know who you are, and this is deeply troubling. How can I be sure of your intentions? If you truly care for me, you must reveal yourself without hiding anything. Also, let me know where you reside." The man said, "I dwell nearby. If you wish to see my form, tomorrow, look in the oil jar that is within the comb box you have. When you see it, do not be afraid. If you are frightened, it would be unbearable for me." The princess reassured him, saying, "I shall not be frightened," and he departed. The next day, the princess opened the comb box and looked into the oil jar, where something moved. "What is moving?" she wondered, lifting it to see a very small snake curled up inside. Though she had promised not to be afraid, upon seeing the snake, she became greatly frightened, cried out, and fled. That evening, the man came as usual, but he seemed different. His demeanor was off, and he did not approach the princess. She felt something was amiss and called out to him, but he replied, "It is heartless of you to be frightened by such things, and for that reason I shall not return." With that, he turned away, looking quite dejected. The princess, feeling regret over his departure, called out to him again. In her distress, she accidentally dropped her chopsticks, and upon that, she fell dead. The emperor and empress mourned her loss, but it was of no use. Nothing could bring her back. They buried her in a grave in the town of Yamato, which came to be known as the Mound of Chopsticks, and this tale has been passed down through the ages. Thus, the story has been passed down. The Tale of the Grave of Empress Genmei and Priest. Once upon a time, when Empress Genmei had passed away, a man named Priest Joy of the Oirakukane clan was sent to Yamato to locate her burial site. In the Yoshino region, at the peak of Mount Kurabiyama, behind the tall peaks of Tawu, there were 7 valleys. Upon seeing this, Priest Joy remarked, "Alas, this is indeed a place of great beauty. However, for the emperor's burial site, the surroundings are not ideal. They descend on both sides, and there is no sign of people here. The area is narrow in front as well, so it cannot be chosen." Thus, he did not select this location. Instead, at the foot of the mountain, there was a wide area toward the direction of Inuhai. He chose this site, which is south of Kaidera. This was the future burial site of Empress Genmei, known as the Hi no Maeda no Misasagi. Surrounding the grave, he set up stones shaped like demons and intricately crafted stones which were superior to anything outside. On the peak, the graves of Oirakukane and Prince Awami were also established. Their bones were ground and scattered about. To prevent horses and cattle from trampling the area, a deep trench was dug around it, ensuring no one could approach. Thus, the legacy of Oirakukane and Prince Awami flourished as prominent ministers of the land. However, it was said that the grave of the emperor would certainly resonate. Thus, it was not surprising to hear that this place is known as Tawu Peak, and this tale has been passed down through the ages. The Tale of the Carp and the Crocodile in Omi. Once upon a time, in the southeastern part of Kori, in the Shiga district of Omi province, there was a place called Kokomimi no Se. To the south of the village flowed the Setagawa River, which featured rapids. In those rapids, a great crocodile from the sea engaged in battle with a carp from the river. In the midst of their struggle, the crocodile was defeated and retreated, transforming into stone in Yamamashiro province. The carp, victorious in battle, returned to the river and now resides around Takebushima. This is why the area is known as Kokomimi no Se. The stone that the crocodile turned into is said to be located in the district of Vilth in Yamashiro province. Even now, the carp is said to reside around Takebushima, and this tale has been passed down through the ages. The rapids of Kokomimi no Se are noted to be in the Setagawa River, and this too has been conveyed through the stories of the people. Thus, the story has been passed down. The Tale of the Great Oak in Kurumoto, Omi Province. Once upon a time, in Kurumoto district of Omi Province, there was a massive oak tree, Hahaso, that grew. Its circumference was 500 fathoms. You can imagine how high the tree must have been, with its branches extending far. In the morning, its shadow reached the land of Tanba Province, and in the evening, it stretched toward Ise Province. The tree did not move during thunderstorms, nor did it sway even in strong winds. In the meantime, the farmers from the three districts of Shiga, Kurumoto, and Koka in that province could not cultivate their fields as the tree's enormous shadow blocked the sunlight. Because of this, the farmers from these districts petitioned the emperor about the situation. The emperor immediately sent Kamori no Sukune and others to cut down the tree, according to the farmers' request. After they felled the tree, the farmers were finally able to cultivate their fields, and their harvests became abundant. The descendants of the farmers who made the petition still live in those districts today. Once, there was such a great tree. This was a rare and wondrous thing. Thus, the story has been passed down.